What's going on, everybody? Morph here, and welcome to the second episode of Indomitable Infernity, the series here on the channel where we go over the Infernity archetype. We do some ranked duels with it, we go over various combos and deck lists, and we might even participate in some tournaments soon, so keep an eye out for that. And in today's episode, we are going to start off by looking at the deck list. I received a lot of comments in the last video asking about the deck list. I did post that in the last video's description, but I feel like a more in-depth look at it would be pretty cool for this episode, so let's jump right into it. As for our deck list, starting off with the monsters, we are playing one Infernity Mirage. I feel like one copy is the perfect ratio for this card. It's definitely a card you don't mind seeing, but definitely not a card you want to see too much of. And Infernity Mirage has the effect that it cannot be special summoned from the graveyard, and if you have no cards in your hand, you can tribute this card and then target two Infernity monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. So you could use it to special summon something like an Archfiend to get a search if you have no cards in your hand. You can use it to special summon a Necromancer to special summon another Infernity monster from your graveyard. You could do it to special summon a Sage and then link it off or synchro it off to the graveyard and get a free mill with one of your Infernity monsters. So definitely a very useful card. It's a little bit of a brick though if you don't have any Infernity cards in your graveyard. That's why we only play the one copy. The next card is one Infernity Sage. It is a level 2 tuner, and it has the effect of during your main phase you can discard your entire hand. And that second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Infernity monster from your deck to the grave. You need to have no cards in your hand to resolve that second effect, and you can only use each effect once per turn. And this card is really good, especially if you open up something like an Infernity Launcher or this creepy little punk, and something like an Infinity Archfiend. You can activate the launcher or set this creepy little punk, normal summon the Sage, activate its effect to discard your entire hand, and then you can kind of go from there. You have your graveyard set up with various types of Infernity monsters. Your hand is empty, so you can activate the effects of your other Infernity monsters. It's really good. I enjoy playing it, and I've debated on whether playing it 2 copies is worthwhile. Right now I'm comfortable with 1 copy, but maybe that'll change in the future. Next up is Infernity Necromancer, which we play 2 copies of. This card is really nice because once per turn, soft once per turn, you can target one Infernity monster in your grave, except this card, and special summon it. And it's interesting. Its effect, when it's normal summoned, to change this card to defense position immediately is good and bad. It's good because it can immediately be on the defense to protect your life points right when you summon it. You don't have to worry about it being a 0 attack point monster just chilling in attack mode. However, it is a little bit of a hindrance if you have something like Infernity Barrier, which only activates while you control a face-up attack position Infernity monster, something to keep in mind. But its effect to target one Infernity monster and special summon it is very good. You can special summon your Archfiend, get some searches off. You can activate Infernity Launcher with your Necromancer and your Archfiend, link off or Xyz or synchro with the Archfiend, and then special summon it right back with the Necromancer. It's just really, really useful, and for that reason I like playing it at 2 copies. Next up, we have 3 copies of Tour Guide from the Underworld. This card is very nice to be able to go into your Cherubini plays because when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 3 Fiend monster from your hand or deck, but negate its effects, and it cannot be used as synchro material, something very important to keep in mind. And basically with this, you are going to want to special summon cards like your Necromancer to get in the grave, like your Fiendish Rhino Warrior to be able to send other Fiend monsters from your deck to the grave, something like an Archfiend, something like a Conjurer, a Necromancer type thing. So it's very good for being able to jumpstart your Link plays. You can go into you can go into Levier, the Sea Dragon, which requires 2 level 3 monsters, and you can activate its effect to target one of your banished level 4 or lower monsters and special summon it. It's just, there are a lot of options with Tour Guide that I think makes it a very good card to have at 3 for this deck. Now the next card we have is Fiendish Rhino Warrior. When this card is sent to the grave, you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard except Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and you can only activate the effect of this card once per turn. And this card is good. Like I mentioned, you can send something like an Archfiend, you can send something like a Necromancer to the grave, and those are really good if you have things like Infernity Launcher, this creepy little punk. Definitely good just to be able to fill up your graveyard with those Infernity and be able to get the most from their effects. So we have Fiendish Rhino Warrior at 1 copy. Next up we have the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak and the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. Both of these cards are really good for our little Phantom Knights engine we have here. Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. If you control a Phantom Knights monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. And you can also banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Phantom Knight spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And we also have Ancient Cloak. If this card is in attack position, you can target 1 dart monster on the field, change this card to defense, and if you do, that monster gains 800 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's next turn. Let's see, and you can also banish this card from your graveyard to add the Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand to accept this card, and you can only activate each effect once per turn. These cards are really good because say you are linking into your, say you're linking into your Cherubini and you really want something like a Fog Blade. You can activate Cherubini's effect. Because these cards are both level 3, you could send them with the Cherubini and then banish them from your graveyard in order to add the Phantom Knights traps, whichever one, from your deck to your hand. Something to keep in mind though, Silent Boots does say add 1 Phantom Knight spell or trap. Meanwhile, Ancient Cloak says add 1 the Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand. So Ancient Cloak is able to add Silent Boots and is also able to add Shade Brigandine from your deck to your hand. It is not able to add Fog Knight, or rather Phantom Knight's Fog Blade, excuse me, from your deck to your hand because it is not the Phantom Knights card. Something definitely important to keep in mind. Silent Boots, I would say, is probably the superior of the two because it is able to add Ancient Cloak, Shade, and is able to add Fog Blade because it just says add 1 Phantom Knights. Or no, so you can add Ancient Cloak, I'm sorry, but you could add either one of the trap cards because it doesn't have the in front of it. And those pair really well with Bardiche, which we will get to in a moment. But we play 3 Infernity Conjurer. This card is really nice because if you have no cards in your hand, monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack points while you have no cards in your hand. And also, while you have no cards in your hand and this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon it but banish it if it leaves the field. Very, very useful. Very nice to be able to get a level 3 easily accessible if you send it to the grave with something like a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, or if you send it to the grave with something like a Cherubini. It's just really good all around, or even an Infernity Sage. Next up, we play 3 copies of Infernity Wildcat. This card is really easy to get out if you have another Infernity monster in your hand. You can send 1 other Infernity monster in your hand to the grave, and you can special summon this card from your hand. And also, while you have no cards in your hand, you can banish 1 Infernity monster in your grave and increase or decrease the level of this card by 1 until the end of this turn. So you can do some interesting things here. You can decrease its level to try to go into a... You can do some interesting things. You can increase its level to try to get into a higher synchro monster. You can decrease its level, maybe try to do some kind of wacky Xyz plays. But I don't really find myself activating the second effect of it too much. But it's a level 3 tuner, and its effect is really good to be able to get cards out of your hand. So that's why we play it at 3. Next up, we have 3 Infernity Archfiend, the best card, one of the best cards in the deck. If you draw this card while you have no other cards in your hand, you can immediately reveal it and special summon it from your hand. And when this card is special summoned, you can search one Infernity card from your deck to your hand. You must have no cards in your hand to activate this effect, of course. And it's a soft once per turn. So say you activate its effect, link it off or synchro it off, and then sum it back with this creepy little punk, Infernity, Necromancer, or Infernity Launcher. You can activate its effect again and again and again as long as your hand is empty. So easy 3 of, not much else to it. Salamander Catalyzer is a nice card as well. It's kind of like Infernity Wildcat. However, you have your choice of whether you want to special summon the Salamander or the other card you choose to reveal from your hand. So that's kind of interesting, and it just helps again with discarding cards from your hand. It's very nice to be able to just get your hand as empty as quick as possible. And also, when a monster is destroyed by battle involving your Fiend monster while this card is in your grave, you can add it to your hand, which normally doesn't seem like it would be the best idea. But if you have no Infernity barrier on the field where you need to have no cards in your hand, it's nice to be able to have it there in case you want to special summon. Say for next turn you draw an Infernity Archfiend, you can activate Salamander, special summon the Archfiend. You have no cards in your hand now, and you can get a free search. Moving on to the spell cards, we play 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Self-explanatory, very good to be able to special summon one monster from either grave. You can go into Archfiend effects by special summon. It's really good. Foolish Burial, just to get more of those Infernities or Fiendish Rhino Warrior, Phantom Knights cards, anything in the graveyard. 2 copies of World Legacy Succession, mostly for the Archfiend, for the Necromancer, just to get them back onto the field to a monster zone where a Link monster's Link arrow points to, and that can help us go into more Link plays as a result. You can only activate 1 per turn though, something to keep in mind. We play 3 copies of this creepy little punk. It's basically a monster reborn for the archetype, and it's really good because if a face-up Infernity monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can set it back onto the field. So it essentially recycles itself as long as you have an Infernity monster on your field, and as long as it keeps getting destroyed or leaves the field or whatever. So it's really nice to be able to make some of those kind of comeback plays, kind of get back into a favorable position. 2 Infernity Launcher, if it was at 3, we would play it at 3. It's at 2 though, so we're playing 2. It's really good. Once per turn, you can send 1 Infernity monster from your hand to the grave. Very good to be able to thin out that hand. And you can send this card to the graveyard, target up to 2 of your Infernity monsters in your grave and special summon them. No cards in your hand to activate this effect, of course. That's really good with something like an Archfiend. Archfiend and Necromancer, I'd say, are probably the best cards to target with this. Because what you can do is, and let's say you have another monster on the field. Let's say you have like a Conjure or whatever, or a Wildcat. You activate Launcher, summon back your Archfiend, Necromancer, and you have Wildcat on the field. No cards in your hand. You activate your Archfiend's effect to add the other copy of Launcher from your deck to your hand. Activate it immediately. You Synchro Summon, or even, you Synchro Summon or you Link Summon whatever with the Archfiend and Wildcat. They're both in the grave now. You can activate your Necromancer's effect, special summon back the Archfiend, get another search. Then you can, link off with the Archfiend, your Link monster, and the Necromancer, or do whatever you want. And then activate Infernity Launcher, get another search. That's already 3 searches. And that's assuming you don't have this creepy little punk or an Infernity Mirage or whatever. So, yeah, you can do a lot of plays with it. Play 2 Called by the Grave, really good to be able to negate some of those nasty hand traps like Ash Blossom and Max C. 3 Forbidden Droplet is really good because you can send any number of cards from your hand and or field to the grave. Choose that many effect monsters your opponent controls, and until the end of this turn, their attack is halved and their effects are negated. It is very useful because you can just say they have a bunch of monsters on the field, effect monsters, you can, in some cases, send your entire hand or most of your hand to the graveyard and negate their effects and have their attack. It's really, really useful. Play 1 copy of the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigadine. This is really good. You can special summon it if you have no traps in your graveyard the turn you set it. It's a level 4, good to be able to go into some of your Xyz plays. And it's just another card to search with the Phantom Knight monsters. We play 2 copies of Infernity Barrier. I might bump this up to 3, I'm not sure yet. It's a really good Omni Negate. Basically, when your opponent activates a spell trap or monster effect while you control a face-up attack position Infernity monster and you have no cards in your hand, you can negate it and destroy it. Really, really good. And we also have 2 copies of the Phantom Knights Fogblade, or rather, Phantom Knights Fogblade. No the. You can activate this card by targeting 1 effect monster on the field, negate that face-up monster's effect. That face-up monster cannot attack, and it cannot be attacked. When it leaves the field, destroy this card, and you can banish this card from your graveyard, and then target 1 the Phantom Knights monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it's really good to be able to get a Phantom Knights monster back on the field if you're in a pinch. Granted, that probably won't happen very often at all because most of the time they'll be banished. And it's really nice just to be able to negate another monster's effect on the field. It is important to keep in mind, though, if you activate this and target an opponent's monster, unless you have a way to destroy that monster by card effect or destroy this card by card effect, you're kind of deadlocking yourself. You cannot attack that monster. You're just kind of at a stalemate until you figure out what to do next. So keep that in mind. You can't negate and then be like, oh, I'm going to swing for game next turn. It's not how it works. Moving on to the extra deck, we play 2 copies of Infernity Doom Archfiend. It is a level 6 synchro, really good because of all the level 3s we play in the deck. Once per turn, you can target, soft once per turn, you can target 1 face-up card on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn, and then if you have no cards in your hand, you can destroy it. And while you have no cards in your hand, if this card battles an opponent's monster, battle damage is doubled essentially. And a Dark Synchro monster that was summoned using this card as material can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So tons of effects, really good. 2 copies I think is perfect. Play 1 copy of 100 Eyes Dragon. This card's useful because once per turn you can banish 1 level 6 or lower dark effect monster from your graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's original name, and replace this effect with the effect of that monster. And when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add an Earthbound Immortal. We don't really care about that last effect though. We are playing 1 Borreload Savage Dragon. This is really good to be able to equip one of our Link monsters from the grave to this card. Doing so gives us a Borrel counter on Borreload Savage Dragon equal to that Link monster's Link rating. And basically with those counters, they act as Omni Negates. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can remove 1 counter from this card and negate the activation, so very useful. 1 Baron de Fleur, very standard. Once per turn, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. And once while this card is face up on the field, you can negate a card or effect that is activated. It's very good. Also, once per turn in the standby phase, you can target 1 level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard. Return this card to your extra deck, and if you do, special summon that. I don't really use that effect often, but I could definitely see how it could have some use. But we are also playing 1 copy of Bestial Dispatter. Really nice because of all the dark attribute monsters we are playing, so we will definitely always have something to special summon usually due to its first effect, and we'll usually always have cards banished, so we'll at least be able to add one of its effects, which being when your opponent's monster activates a monster effect, you can target 1 banished card, shuffle it into the deck. If you shuffle it into your deck, you can destroy that monster. And if you shuffle it into your opponent's deck, negate the effect. So at least we're getting a destruction effect, if not a negation. It's really good. Levier the Sea Dragon is a rank 3 Xyz monster requiring 2 level 3 monsters. We play a lot of level 3s, so it works out pretty perfectly. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card and then target one level 4 or lower banished monster and special summon it. Works well if you have your Infernity Archfiend banished for some reason. Just also works well to get back your Conjure, get back one of your Phantom Knights monsters. Just pretty good all around. And then we play one copy of number 60, Dugarez the Timeless. This card is not optimal, but it's just good to have. You can detach 2 materials to activate one of the following effects. Skip your next draw phase, draw 2, and then discard 1. Skip your next main phase, but special summon a monster from your grave in defense. So something like maybe a Necromancer, maybe an Infernity Archfiend. Skip the next battle phase of your next turn. But double the attack of one of the monsters you control until the end of this turn. So its effects are usually used as the last resort if you're trying to finish the game there and then. Definitely something interesting to keep in mind. Play one copy of Rare's Knight and one copy of Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. These cards pair up really well because Rare's Knight requires 2 level 4 dark monsters, so something like our Infernity Archfiend and our Shade Brigandine, and basically you can detach one material from this card, special summon from your extra deck one the Phantom Knights, Raid Raptor, or Xyz Dragon Xyz monster that's 1 rank higher, so Arc Rebellion. And basically the cool part about this is based on Rare's Knight's effect, destroy it during your opponent's next end phase. Arc Rebellion's first effect, this Xyz summon card cannot be destroyed by card effects, so it's not leaving the field because of Rare's Knight's effect. And Arc Rebellion has a really cool effect where you can detach one material from this card. This card gains attack equal to the total attack of all other monsters on the field. And if this card, so if you detach a material other than the Raider's Knight, the Dark Xyz monster, you can negate the effects of all other face-up monsters on the field. So that's just, it's awesome. Something to keep in mind, after this effect resolves, you can only attack with Arc Rebellion. So it has to be in an attack where you can win the game. Moving on to the Link monsters, we are playing one Cherubini. It is really good. It requires 2 level 3 monsters. Easy considering our deck. You can send 1 level 3 monster from your deck to the grave. Target 1 Burning Abyss monster on the field, that being Cherubini. It gains defense and attack equal to the defensive attack of the monster sent to the graveyard. It's great to be able to send stuff like your Infernity Necromancer, your Conjurer, Wildcat if you wanted to, Fiendish Rhino Warrior, anything you want, just to fill up the graveyard, get some more effects. IP Masquerena, it's generic, it's good, it's a link to, so it's just really easy to link into. It's 2 non-link monsters. We can use any of our main deck monsters for that. It's just really generic, really good. The Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, really good because we are able to send the Phantom Knights monster from our deck to the grave to set a Phantom Knight spell trap from our deck directly to our spell and trap zone. And this actually pairs really well with something like Silent Boots, because say we go into Bardiche, activate its effect to set Fogblade and send Silent Boots. Well, we can activate Silent Boots' effect, banish it, add the other copy of our Fogblade from our deck to our hand, and then set it. So we have 2 Fogblade, and you can activate the targeting effect, the negation, more than once per turn. The only thing that's a hard once per turn on this effect is the special summon, the banishing this card to special summon a Phantom Knight from your graveyard. So that's 2 negates right there. That's really good. We're playing 1 Saryuja Skulldread. This is really good. It's a rank 4. It's nice because if you use 3 materials, you can special summon a monster from your hand. Say if you have Infernity Archfiend just chilling in your hand, just waiting to get on the field, you can special summon it, get the search. If you use 4 materials, you can draw 4 and then place 3 on the bottom of your deck. And that's good if you just really need just something extra to push you over the edge to gain the lead. And finally, we are playing one Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Really good. You're typically going to have a lot of monsters on the field anyway, so this card can typically have at least 4 monster negates, 3200 attack, 800 attack per material, so yeah, 4 materials, 4 times 8, 3200. Yeah, it's just really good to be able to just be another source of negates. And usually with your Infernity Barrier, you're going to always want to save that for your spell and trap negates, your opponent's spell and trap negates. Because if you have Appaloosa, it's only monster effects. So there's no point in using your Infernity Barrier when you already have an Appaloosa or a Dispatter or whatever, you know? But that's the deck. I just realized we are pretty deep into this video already, so we gotta get some duels in. Let's jump right into it. Here we will try to see what Ranked Duel has in store for us. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. The new pack did just release, which I will be doing videos on here in the future. Maybe I'll even upload another one today. I'm not sure. It all depends. But in any case, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff with that new pack. Super Heavy Samurai, Numlaria, Gold Pride, Vanadium stuff. I know there are dinos in the secret pack. It's a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of stuff I want to try to explore and make videos on, give some insight on. It's just a treasure trove. It's a treasure trove of content, if you will. Alrighty, so our turn. This is a pretty good opening hand, honestly. It's not like the worst, or it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. So we'll activate our Foolish Burial right off the bat. Let's see. What does our opponent have for us? Nothing. Good, good, good. We will send an Infernity Archfiend right off the bat to the grave. We'll normal summon the Necromancer. Doesn't really matter. What we're trying to do right now is just empty our hand, and it's looking like we'll be able to pretty nicely. They are going to activate the Max C. That is a little bit annoying. And it makes me wonder if I should just... this is risky. I think I'm going to end our turn there. Maybe that's risky, but I know with the plan I had in mind, it required a lot of special summoning. I did not want them to get that advantage with Max C, because with all the negates in the world, they could draw just as many Kaijus, Dark Ruler no more, it's just stuff to ruin our day, stuff to mess up our combos. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. It looks like our opponent is playing Numeron Network, so I should have risked it. Well, I didn't know what they were playing, to be fair. Man. Numeron, for those who don't know, is a deck that specializes in OTKs. It's frustrating to go against, but it is what it is, you know. And it looks like our opponent is going to be able to OTK us here most likely, because each time they attack, they can activate their Numeron Gates effect to basically double the attacks, of all of their Numeron monsters. So they'll attack, raise it to 4,000, crash into our Necromancer with the 4,000 attack one, and swing into us with 8,000. It's unfortunate. There's nothing we could have really done. We could have extended, but it just seemed risky. Man. Man, maybe I should have activated the Monster Reborn or something, but live and learn. Alrighty. Hopefully we don't face a deck like that again. That was not the best way to start the Ranked Duel portion of this video, but you know, it is what it is. Nothing you can really do in a situation like that. Alright, so we are going to go first this time. I honestly hope we have a hand like that again. Like, that was a good hand. That was a really good hand. It's just unfortunate they had the Max C. And And to be fair, usually decks like that have like stuff like kaiju, stuff like just to be able to tribute over your monsters to have monsters in attack mode type thing. So that way they can deal as much damage as possible. Okay, interesting. We will set 2 to start. We'll normal summon the tour guide, activate tour guide's effect. Now this is, Ash Blossom. That is frustrating to go against right now, but it's okay. We still have plays we can do. Oh no, it's not Fiend, so we can't activate Salamander's effect. Darn. And it's just, I should have saved that call by, that was silly. I was so focused on trying to get my hand as empty as quick as possible that I neglected that possibility. And definitely something to keep in mind for future games. They are going to summon the Aratama. Okay, so let's see. They can add 1 spirit monster from their deck to their hand, that being the Sakitama. Ooh, I wonder what they're playing. So they're going to normal summon the Sakitama. It looks like maybe it's a Utopia deck, if I had to guess. Just the level 4 to scream Utopia. Maybe... No, it's got to be a Utopia. I don't think they're playing Teller Knight. They could be, though. I play Sakitama in my Teller Knight deck, so maybe they're playing Teller Knight. If I had to guess, it's gotta be probably Utopia, though, right? Exo Sister. Interesting. Alright. Exo Sister, Caspatel. You can attach 1 material, add 1 Exo Sister monster from your deck to your hand. Not much we can really do against that. We don't have access to our negate just yet. They're going to add the Martha from their deck to their hand. And they're going to activate the Martha's effect. So, what are they going to be able to do with that? Okay, so they can special summon it and special summon 1 Exo Sister Ellis from their deck to the field. Gonna go into another Xyz summon. It makes sense. I'm gonna go into the Michaelis. Michaelis. Okay, yeah, I pronounced it right. Close enough. They are going to activate their effect, detaching a material to add 1 Exo Sister spell trap from their deck to their hand. If I had to guess, probably the trap, Vadis. Yeah, Vadis is good. Let's see, they can banish, I think, with that. Pay 800 life, choose. Oh, what are they gonna do? Okay, they're gonna banish our face down. Not good, not good. Let's read what Vaz does, though. Pay 800 life, choose 1 Exo Sister monster from your deck, take 1 other monster from... Hold on. Then take 1 other monster from your deck that is mentioned on that monster, special summon both, shuffle them to the deck during the end phase, and we are just losing cards left and right, both banished. It does not look good for us. Let's just say that. Even if we draw something, though, I don't think it'll really... Yeah, they can attack twice. Even if we somehow summon something, it will just be banished next turn anyway. That's the problem. And we can't activate our Salamander's effect because our Silent Boots isn't a warrior. We can try. I don't think we're gonna be able to pull anything off, though. Phantom Knight Spore Trap. Let's see. Maybe they'll time out. I doubt it, unfortunately, but we'll have to see. There's the baddest. I don't think... Unfortunately, I do not think that we have a shot at winning this one. You know, it's tough, but I think what separates good duelists from great duelists, I think, is the ability to realize when you're at that point of no return type of thing. When you're realizing, like, hey, there is no way I'm going to be able to win this game. Let's try another duel, or let's, try something new type thing, because having that level of foresight, I think that's the right word, like being able to know what's going to happen, how it's going to play out, and saving yourself that time and realizing that, I think, is very important. Okay, let's see. Conjure, Wildcat, Necromancer, Called By, and Fogblade. Not a bad opening hand. Hopefully we can draw something like an Infernity Launcher. That would make this hand beautiful. But we'll have to see. They are going to set one pass. Interesting. Something good, come on. Archfiend. That's not what we needed. Not yet, at least. Okay. I think we will send the Archfiend from our hand to the grave, especially some of the Wildcat. Now let's see what they have. What are they going to do? Are they going to have some sort of trap card to negate our summon? Are they going to have a Max C? If they have a Max C, then that's... Ooh. Ice Dragon's Prison. That's not good for us. With that, they can banish both of our monsters, yeah. That's frustrating, but not much else we can do. We'll summon a Conjure and we'll swing for 1200. And then it's looking like what we'll have to do is we'll have to go into our Leviair, the Sea Dragon, next turn by normal summoning our Necromancer. And hopefully we can draw a Spell Trap, set it, so our hand's empty. And then we can get back our Archfiend. That's the hope. Feather Duster, seriously. They are having everything to ruin our day. But that's okay. That is fine. They're going to set one more, end their turn. I wonder if we're playing against a trap-heavy deck. We might be. Darn. Silent Boots is not the card we needed, unfortunately. This is a little bit of a toughie. I guess we'll normal summon Silent Boots. Okay, now the question is what to do here. So even if we go into Leviair, there's no guarantee that we'll be able to go into our Archfiend's effect right away. So what I'm thinking is we go into our Cherubini, right? And they have the Runic Flashing Fire. Very, very unfortunate. I think we'll activate the Fogblade's effect just to have a monster on board. Have a level 3 monster, something. We'll go defense for now. And we'll activate its effect in order to send our Silent Boots, or rather banish it. So we can still activate its effect. Totally planned out, of course. Totally meant to do that. Let's see. The Phantom Knights. This is tough. Even we activate our Ancient Cloaks effect. Say if we send it to the grave and then banish it to get the Brigandine, and we go into our Bardiche, there's not really much we can do from that point. I think we'll send the Fiendish Rhino Warrior. We'll gain the attack, and we'll activate the Rhino Warrior's effect. Now the question is what to send. I think we gotta send... this is tough. The Salamander... it's tough. The Salamander Catalyzer. I'm gonna say that. And that's because we can add it to our hand, and say we draw another monster next turn, we can do 2 summons. We can activate Salamander's effect, get a special summon off, and a normal summon. So we can empty our hand, and then hopefully we can try to get back that Archfiend that's banished. That's the intent, anyway. But we'll have to see what they choose to do. Storming Mirror Force. Unfortunate, but, you know, it's a good thing we were able to waste it. The only thing, I just hope I don't regret the Salamander play. I just hope I shouldn't have sent Archfiend instead, you know? But it's tough. It's tough to know what the right play is until you do it. Wildcat. That is interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. I'm gonna normal summon Wildcat. Maybe that's crazy. But we can do 1400 points of damage. And the more important thing is, next turn we can go into our Leviair, the Sea Dragon. Because, say we used our Wildcat, discard the Necromancer, summon back the Conjurer, that would only let us go into, realistically, Doom Archfiend or another Cherubini. And that doesn't really help us. Okay, perfect. This is good. We'll activate Foolish Burial to send the Archfiend. I should have summoned Necromancer first. That was a misplay on my part, because then we could have summoned the Sage, and we could have gotten the Archfiend in grave anyway, but we would have had 2 Infernity monsters in the grave. Something to keep in mind for next time. But I think we're still okay. Let's see. We'll activate the Necromancer's effect right now, targeting the Archfiend to special summon it and get the search. Excuse me. And hopefully it goes through Torrential Tribute. That's fine, honestly. We still get our search. In all honesty, they should have saved that for when we did some bigger plays. Now maybe they know something I don't. Maybe they have another Torrential Tribute face down. That would be kind of insane, but for now, we're going to activate Infernity Launcher, sending it to the graveyard, special summoning our Necromancer and our Archfiend, like so. Bada bing, bada boom. Activate Infernity Archfiend's effect to add the... What are they going to do? We'll add the Infernity Launcher back to our hand. What are they plotting? Maybe it's an imperm or something. It doesn't matter. We'll go into our Conjurer. Now we have some interesting plays. We'll go into our IP Masquerena to start. Just because that gets our Archfiend and that gets our Conjurer, or at least it gets our Archfiend into the grave. Now we'll activate Necromancer's effect, special summoning back the Archfiend, like so. Now, the question is, what do we want to do here? We'll add this creepy little punk. That card is so funny to say, oh my goodness. We'll set it, I set it in the wrong column. That was dumb on my part. That was silly, but it's okay, because what we want to do here is go into a Link summon. We can go into our Appaloosa. I shouldn't have sent it in that monster, in that column, rather. I'm hoping... Oh, okay, Lost Wind. That's it's not good, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We'll activate our this creepy little punk in order to special summon our Infernity Archfiend from our banished pile. With that, we can do another search. And let's see, I think we want to search one of our barriers. We'll set that, and we'll activate our launcher's effect yet again, choosing our Necromancer and Wildcat. Boom and boom. We can activate our Necromancer's effect yet again to special summon the Infernity Archfiend from our grave. Special summoning it to add our Infernity Barrier from our deck to our hand, our second one. So we have 2 negates on board. And that's game. And I think that's all the games for today. This video is getting a little long. I really hope you all enjoyed the video. I know it was mostly going over the deck, but I just thought would be a good opportunity just to go more in depth, kind of go over the plays, the utilities of each card, and yeah, expect more games in the next video, I promise. But I hope you all have such a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.